The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to part 2 of the Super Bowl preview Phixated podcast. I am your host, Mike Azzy, and I am joined by a guy who did not complain nearly as much about losing in intramural flag football as the 49ers complain about losing in the NFC Championship game. Regz, we're back, baby.
Obviously, they're very relatable, and much like the Eagles, we didn't lose many, so there wasn't a ton to complain about. We're gonna get into the baby back B word 49ers, in a little bit here, so we don't have to go too much into that. But some comments are starting to be a little bit ridiculous.
Before I go into the Niners, how many games did we lose in college in flag football?
Oh boy,
in 4 years.
I mean, year 1 we didn't lose any.
Right.
Year two, I'm sure we lost undefeated. 1. No, year 2, yeah. Year 3, because
we lost in the championship.
Yep. And then year 4.
And I think we lost one regular season game in that year too.
We did. I think it was the same team twice, wasn't it?
Yeah, didn't we lose the track team twice?
Yep.
Yeah.
And then the last year we didn't lose at all.
So we lost twice in 4 years.
Yeah.
Good for us.
I mean, that first year run was literally, the Cinderella story. Maybe
was.
Ever at Elizabethtown College.
It really was. It really was. We were playing catch on the quad one day, throwing the ball around, and this group of people came over to us and asked us if we wanted to join with them because they hadn't won a game yet.
Oh, yeah.
Remember?
I do now. And then we just got all our friends, though, and then we just pulled everybody in.
And didn't lose.
No. Yep. Upset the two best teams that have been at the college for 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
The Mount Joy guys and then the lacrosse guys in back-to-back games, right?
Yep.
It's good stuff.
Good time. I mean, we were really good.
It's good stuff. And
but even in those two games,
have we said what our team name was?
I don't think we've ever said it.
I mean, we were the Little Giants.
We were the Little Giants, and our shirts had Little Giants names on the back.
That's right.
What was yours?
Gas Man. Of course it was, right?
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. Was that Danny or Kevin O'Shea? I feel like I was Danny.
Ooh, I feel like you were Danny.
Yeah, because Josh was Kevin.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who was Icebox?
Well, at first,
I can't remember.
I don't remember. I don't remember. At first, I think it was someone who we weren't super close with.
Yeah,
who just
that's
played
right.
With us.
Yeah.
And then didn't it become Kayla?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, listen.
Stein was that little kid with the glasses.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Yes, he
all
was.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, we had a blast. Oh man, we were just truly unbeatable. Honestly.
Truly.
Well, two times to the same team, and I feel like they were just super fast. I don't know what happened the next year, but we beat them the next year when we played them in the regular season.
Well, we took most of them. It was really what happened.
That's true. We did. We took
a bunch of them.
Yep, you did. I was a really good recruiter.
That was your Howie year.
That was my Howie year.
Yep.
I said, we got 1 year, go for broke.
You skimmed right off the top.
I took two of the best dudes from the track team. I took two of the best dudes from the lacrosse team.
Yep.
Game changers.
Yep.
Game changers.
Listen,
I took Weber Paige's husband.
That's right. We needed some fresh blood. We were older. Had some miles on us. We needed some fresh blood, and that's what they brought.
They did. We won a lot of games. Man,
we did.
Man. Whew, baby.
Not just in that sport. Not just in that sport either.
No.
Listen, when you start up writing for the podcast, this has to be one of the things you write about. Okay. Like a storied 3.5 years of intramural dominance. from 2005 to 2009.
Just to recap.
Yeah, that would be the best.
All right, if I can muster up the memory of all the things we did.
Listen, every one of those people who played on those teams is still in your phone or on Facebook. You're going to be like a journalist. You're going to reach out and ask questions, fill in the gaps. This is going to be your like opus for like Phixated.com or whatever we end up getting.
Phixatedpod.com.
That's right. This is going to be your
happening,
opus
people.
for that website.
It's happening, people.
This is going to be it. Oh man, now I'm all excited. This has to happen, by the way.
The domain name has been acquired. It's coming.
This has to happen now, by the way.
It's coming. It's coming. So listen, we're gonna get into the Niners here. I don't want to spend a whole lot of time here. I just feel like it needs to be addressed, and it needs to be addressed because these are professional athletes, professional coaches, and a professional front office that could so simply have just let it go and have dragged it out for an entire 2 weeks. It's been 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And today the kicker said something.
I didn't see this one.
Oh, I will pull it up to read to you. But here's what we got so far. The front office and the coaching staff complained about not being able to bring a third quarterback.
Yep.
You could have. You absolutely could have brought a third quarterback. You chose not to. So stop.
Yeah, right.
Deebo Samuel had some things to say this week. Brandon Ayuk talked about how he thought the Eagles would get exposed. Brandon, they played 19 games. They have not been exposed yet. Not once. I won't even say the Commanders exposed them. The Commanders kept the ball away from them. That's all they did.
Dallas dropped 40.
Yeah, but they didn't have Maddox or CJGJ in that game.
That's true. But 40's still a lot.
40's a lot, but you're missing two of your most important secondary
Listen,
players.
very true. But if I'm going to be a little bit devil's advocate.
Fine. Do it. It's not correct. And then Christian McCaffrey came out and said he was probably the most diplomatic. If I'm being fair.
Yeah.
He was the most diplomatic. It was still wrong.
Right.
It still wasn't accurate,
Mm-hmm.
but he was at least diplomatic from the sense of that's a good team that we played.
Yeah.
Right. But he came out and said, you just feel like you got robbed because you didn't have the quarterback.
Which
Here's the thing I wonder about bringing a third quarterback, right? It would be your fifth quarterback.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Who are you bringing in at that point that's going to make a difference in the game?
Not at that point. Right.
Stop. I can understand the argument of, if we had Jimmy Garoppolo or if we had Trey Lance, like, fine.
Yeah.
But to say, we could, if we had a third quarterback.
Right. Just anyone off a practice
Jimmy
squad. Right.
Smitter from the,
right.
that played 2 years at University of Alabama, Birmingham's South Campus is all of a sudden going to become the guy.
Right.
Shut up.
It's like all they needed was someone who could just throw a little bit.
Shut up. Like that's not how it works. That's not how it works. And then Robbie Gould, kicker extraordinaire. But if you make Jalen Hurts play quarterback, you're going to have a pretty solid day on defense.
So glad
you're a kicker.
I was about to say, so glad Robbie is weighing in with his offensive expertise. Oh man,
you're a kicker.
Yeah.
Like, Robbie, if the game plan was to make Jalen play quarterback, fine. So be it.
But I'm confused.
He did play quarterback.
Your defense was healthy, and he did play quarterback. So I'm confused. I don't know what.
I'm assuming what he means is that he didn't have to throw the football.
So when a team so dominates you in the on that side of the trenches, you should just abandon that altogether because, guys, that's not fair. They really want to see Jalen throw the ball for 40 times.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. Would God's gift to offense, Kyle Shanahan, have done that? If Christian McCaffrey is chunking off 7 or 8 yards at a time, Is he going to make Brock Purdy throw 40 times in a game? Like, no, he's not. How about your number one defense doesn't get blown off the ball?
Jalen Hurts has a top 5 passer rating from the pocket this year. 101.5. I feel like he's done just fine playing the position of quarterback this year. And my response to the great Robbie Gould would be make Christian McCaffrey play quarterback, and I think your defense will have a pretty good day. Get out of here. And then and Regz, like, one more thing. The Deebo Samuel comment, if Brock Purdy doesn't get hurt, I don't think it would have been close.
Like,
If I'm Kyle Shanahan, I am texting all of my players and saying, shut up. Like, be a leader. Do they not see how bad this looks? Like, the rest of the NFL, unless you're a Cowboy fan who thrives on this, how do you feel good? Like, how do you look at the Niner fan base and the Niner player group and say, I like this team. I like them.
Yeah,
good for them.
They're really focusing on the right things, right? Yeah.
Like, good for them. They're complaining about a loss.
Really showing a lot of mental fortitude.
I mean, I think we play him next year.
Brock Purdy, I'm
very excited.
Brock Purdy didn't get knocked out slipping down the stairs.
Mm-hmm.
He got knocked out because our best defensive end got to the quarterback on like the 4th play of the game.
The same thing happened to Josh Johnson.
Yeah. Like,
so
that's great. Yeah. It stinks that Brock Purdy got hurt. Fair. But he didn't get hurt by like happenstance.
Yeah.
Like, Hassan Reddick made a play on the football, which, let's just say he doesn't get hurt, is still a fumble, which the Eagles recovered.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, if Brock Purdy doesn't get hurt, Hassan Reddick is never going to touch the quarterback for the rest of the game. Like, come on, guys. Let's just be smart.
There are Niner fans online who have put up the video of that exact play.
Yeah.
To show that Brandon Ayuk ends up getting open like 6 seconds after the play starts. So good for them. Silver linings matter, but wins also matter, and you didn't win. Done with the conversation. We're done with the Niners.
Yeah.
We got more important things to talk about. We got a Super Bowl to talk about.
That's right.
One that they're not playing in, as we've clearly heard over and over again. Real quickly though, media day.
Yeah.
Media night. First night that everybody's there. What a disaster.
This thing is it's getting like worse and worse.
What was your favorite part?
I'm such an old man, like in my soul, that all these dumb questions and ridiculous questions, like I don't like chuckle lightly and be like, oh, what a goofball who asked that question. I imagine me sitting there and getting this question and having to fight every urge to just be like, is that all you got?
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's what you came to Super Bowl Media Week with? Like, what? Are you going to tweet this to 1,000 people and like really get a good laugh out of it, big guy? Like, that's what my brain thinks of. When people ask these questions, it's like, I get it that most of them aren't like real journalists or real reporters. This is the one time they get a press pass because they got over 3,000 followers on Twitter somehow. It's like the equivalent of, you ever see those TikToks or Instagram things of when people like go into stores? The one guy goes into like Home Depot and like gets a PVC pipe and like blows it in people's faces, like comes from behind them and blows it in their ear. Yeah. And finally one dude turned around and put him in a headlock. And the guy's like, it's a prank, man. And the dude's like, I don't give a crap that it's a prank. Like, you're in public. Like, I'm not a paid actor. Like, I'm going to beat the crap out of you.
That's right.
Because you're an idiot. Like, that's what I equate those people who ask those questions to. Now, like, you sent me the one video of that little girl who like went up
awesome,
super excited, interviewed Jalen. Like, that's what I love about that day.
Yeah.
Like when Sports Illustrated sends like, the kid reporter, or they used to do this, and they get to ask him a bunch of questions. Like that's the kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm all in for it being used for that kind of stuff to happen. But like, do we need the guy who says, "Is this a must-win game for you, coach?" Can we revoke his media pass, please? Can someone just be standing there from the NFL and be like, "No, we thought you might ask a better question this year. This is mine now." Move it or lose it. Move it or lose it.
You're gone.
I can't get over it. I'm such an old man in my soul that I just can't get past how stupid it is.
It is all for pomp and circumstance, right? Like they are there there are people who haven't watched a football game all year.
Exactly.
There to ask questions about football, and it makes me laugh.
I think we could get a media pass to media day.
I think we should.
We'll try next year.
That should be the goal for next year.
Yeah.
The Eagles will be back, so it's fine.
Of course.
Regz, here's my favorite part. When the reporter apologizes to Jalen Hurts.
Oh, yeah.
And for those of you that haven't seen it, the reporter starts the comment to Jalen by saying, I want to tell you that, the Eagles are here in a Super Bowl with you, and I did not think that was ever going to happen with you as the quarterback. And Jalen, kind of smiles at him and says, you weren't the only one.
Yeah.
And the guy said, but I'm here to tell you as a man.
Yeah, right.
That I'm sorry. And like, you could tell Jalen was like, what?
Yeah. He's just like, cool.
Yeah. And that's exactly what he said. He goes, cool, man. And he turned his entire, his body language was like, I'm not giving this guy another. So see, second.
that one, I think the guy is being genuinely serious.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Because I think it's one of those rare times that a media person, and again, I don't know who that person was. They could write a blog to themselves for all I know.
Right.
But I think he was genuinely being like, hey, man, I had a stupid take about you. And like, I'm here to just say, in person, say, my bad, good for you. Getting here, great. And I think Jalen didn't take it the wrong way, but he's just like, cool, man. Like, all right.
What do you want me to say to that?
Great.
Like,
thanks for doubting me, I guess.
Personally, Regz, I probably would have done it after, time was up. I said, Jalen, just want to tell you.
Yeah.
Like, congratulations. I was a doubter.
Sure.
Like, I was a doubter. And probably would have used my forum for an actual
that's what I mean.
Moment of Jalen Hurts.
That's right. This is your one time to get these people. Like, let's just say you and I went there. What if we use that time to say, is this a must-win game, coach? What a waste of our time. It's like if we had it's like when Ruben Amaro came on the show and we asked him, like, what's your favorite brand of cereal, Ruben? Like, what are we doing? Like, what's your favorite, favorite type of sock? You an anklet guy, or you like it up to below the calf? You know what I mean? It's like, what are we talking about?
I feel like, I don't know which one was worse for Coach Sirianni. Is this a must-win game? Or which of the players would you allow your daughter to
That
date?
One's the worst.
And Sirianni's in. My daughter is 5.
Yeah, that one's the worst.
So I understand the context of the question. Like, what player do you have but like Nick Sirianni's not thinking about his 5-year-old daughter dating
exactly.
Yet.
Like, just like, be smarter.
How about asking the question this way? You've got a lot of great leaders on your team. You've got a lot of great characters on your team. What players stand out to you in that capacity and build capacity in other players? I don't know, Regz. I haven't done this very long, but it feels like that would be a better way of asking it than which guy would you let date your 5-year-old daughter?
But this is the problem. These people think it's funny or that they're going to get some great answer. I think there should be a line that the NFL people put them in, and they should get lobotomies before they leave the room. Like, you're no longer allowed to be like, think you're smart. So we're just going to pull this. We're going to stick this big needle in your ear, and then you go about your day. Just please don't come back here. Like, us, God. Again, it's literally the equivalent of us asking Ruben Amaro Jr. what kind of socks he wears.
That's right.
We had 45 minutes with a baseball general manager, and if we had asked a question like that, I would have hated myself for the rest of my life.
And he would have stopped the call.
Exactly.
Well, Regz, I think that's enough on that.
God, those
and
people
hopefully,
are dumb.
And next year when the Eagles are back, we'll get our.
We're going. Yeah, we're going.
We're gonna go. We're gonna go.
I think it's in Las
You could be
Vegas.
the lucky winner.
It's in Las Vegas.
Is it?
Yeah.
We're going to Vegas.
There you go.
Media caliber and all, baby.
I mean, well, listen, another year of this, we'll have so many followers and listens that, you know, they'll have to let us in.
They'll have to let us in. It's just the way it goes.
That's right.
All right. So, Regz, we did what we've been doing, which is we asked the Phixated listeners for their thoughts. And we're going to jump right into those here and answer some questions. And we appreciate everybody who commented.
Yes,
Thank
you, everyone.
Some left their predictions. Some left some questions. Some left some keys. So we're going to get into all that here throughout the show. But we're going to start with questions. The first one being, this one came from Amy. Kelsey versus Kelsey. Which Kelsey has the better game? Now, it's hard, Amy, up front to compare.
It's not an apples to apples comparison. But.
Yeah, it's not an apples to apples comparison. Now, I will tell you this. One of our listeners, and I won't say who yet, in his prediction, predicted that Jason Kelsey would catch a touchdown pass.
Wow.
In this game.
The problem is, doesn't he have to line up at like outside the tackle to be?
Yeah, it does have to declare eligible.
Yeah. Does he have to line up somewhere different?
Let me tell you who could be. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let me tell you who could be. They've used him a lot. Cam Jurgens.
Yep.
His backup is a former tight end.
Okay. That makes more sense.
Has lined up as an eligible receiver on the goal line.
Yep.
Pulling Kelsey to be eligible would be a little bit
I think
weird.
Yeah, they might see that and think something's up.
Also, Jordan Mailata has lined up in that spot as eligible.
Yes.
And he can catch a football.
Yeah.
And he can run people over.
You would think his hands are about the size of him.
Well, and he was a freaking star rugby player.
That's right.
So here's the thing. Again, this is very much the opposite of apples to apples.
Yes.
I'm going to answer first here.
Okay.
And I'm going to explain this later. But I'm going to say Jason. Jason is one win away from retiring. Jason's highlights won't be as sexy as what Travis's would be.
Right.
Jason's highlights won't be as eye-popping as Travis's would be. But Jason is the anchor to what the Eagles do best. And this is, I believe, going to be it for him. So to me, at the end of this, and again, I will explain why later on in the show, I think this is a Jason Kelsey football game.
So I agree. And again, to not spoil my prediction later, I think I'll just leave it at that. I think Jason Kelsey will have a better football game.
Okay. So then we'll get into our question from Curtis. And Curtis is a Chiefs fan. So he said, I'd like to know your sleepers from each team. So do you want to go both of us at a time? We do both of our sleepers, or do you want to go team by team?
How many do we get? Do we get one for each side of the ball for either team?
I was just going to do one per team, but you can take it how you wish.
That's fine. We can do one per team. That's fine. I got to narrow mine down a little bit.
One per side of the ball per team is what I was going to do.
Oh, yeah. Then we're on the same page. Okay.
Okay. All right. You go first then.
All right. So mine for the Eagles offense is going, again, I like this sleeper thing is such a weird way to say it, because I don't know if he's going to be a sleeper, and this is not like a hot take, but maybe it's a combo. If Kenny Gainwell and Scott score a touchdown, like we win this game by 21 points. Like that's what I'm saying. I know everyone's on the Kenny Gainwell train, like the Ringer, Philly special guys are all on it. Like everyone's on it. It's not crazy. He's playing amazing. Someone had a really funny joke on that Ringer pod that they were like, someone told Kenneth Gainwell in December that Miles Sanders wasn't signed for next year, so he decided to pick it up. He didn't know before then, which is why he started running so hard. I was like, that's really good. That's really funny. That he wasn't aware that Miles wasn't coming back next year until like December. So I thought that was
That's
pretty
awesome.
funny. But I think if those two guys, very similar to the San Francisco game, if those two guys have a touchdown each, I don't think this game is very close, because that means Miles is doing all the things that he does to get those huge chunk plays. You know, run after run after run. Kenny is doing all the things he's been doing for the past month and a half. You know, being explosive, catching the ball out of the backfield. And then again, if you can bring Scott in just to get another touchdown, just like he did against San Francisco, like that's like icing on that running back cake, essentially.
So are you saying both of them?
I'm going to say both of them because I think Kenny Gainwell's like too hot, like too cool of a take right now to be a sleeper. So I want to mix in Scott to make it a little sleeper-ish.
Fair.
How about you?
Am I going offense only right now for the Eagles?
No, you do whatever you want. Go nuts.
Do you have a Chiefs pick?
I do, but I thought we're gonna go back and forth. We're gonna bounce back and forth off each other.
Then I'll go. I'll do Chiefs offense to start.
I like it.
So when we had Kyle on, he talked a bit about Isaiah Pacheco, and I talked about Isaiah Pacheco too. That he scares me a lot. Now, Clyde Edwards-Helaire came off of the IR this week, but I'm not going with either one of those two. I'm going with Jerick McKinnon, who down in the red zone, especially inside the 10, becomes very dangerous and a weapon that Andy likes to use. This dude scores touchdowns, right? Like, he's a guy that I feel like when he gets down in there, he's at this year 72 carries, 291 yards. I feel like he's a guy, when you get into the red zone, he becomes a little bit more of a focus for the Eagles.
Yeah.
And someone that, you know, not many people think about. And you don't think about him specifically because they don't run the ball a lot.
Right.
Like Pacheco has 830 yards this year, but they use McKinnon in those inside the 10, inside the 15, 20 situations. He can catch the ball a little bit. Certainly 56 catches this year for 500 plus yards, 9 touchdown receptions.
Yeah.
So certainly look for him in those, you know, closed space situations when they can get him latched up on a linebacker. So he's my offensive player from the Chiefs. I'll turn it back to you, my friend.
So my offensive Chiefs, again, I'm kind of cheating, but I'm using like a personnel group a little bit.
Okay.
Is I really liked how Kyle talked about the Chiefs' interior offensive line, center and both guards, as being a real strength of theirs. And I really think if that group can have a really good day, I'm worried. Because I really do think that our edge rushers are much, much better than the Chiefs' tackles. But if we can't get, very much like Tom Brady in his day, the Giants beat him so many times because of their ability to control that section of the offensive line from a defensive standpoint. When quarterbacks get pushed in front of them, there's very little options for them to get out of the pocket. Again, 2 of the best probably at doing it are playing in this game.
Yeah.
But I'm not thinking Patrick Mahomes is any less than 100% because I can't let that thought creep into my mind. But if there is right now like a chink in the Iron Man armor for him, it's that maybe that ankle isn't great on certain rollouts, you know, throwing from certain positions, especially on rollouts. And I don't think it's something he's going to want to do, but if the interior of our defensive line can't get a push to make the pocket smaller, all Patrick needs to do is step up, take 1 step to the right, and that's that half second that Travis Kelce gets open. That's that half second that someone finds a gap in our zone. Like, that's where Patrick Mahomes is the most dangerous quarterback on the planet, is because of his ability to do that. So if those 3 guys on that offensive line have a really good day, it's going to be a long night for us from an Eagles defense perspective.
All right, so I'm gonna go with someone that for the Chiefs defense, I went both Chiefs to start. That I think could be sneaky in this game specifically. He did not have any kind of remarkable season, but I for some reason it's guys like this that get me because the Eagles were high on him. And whenever that happens, it just makes me feel like something's going down. Kyle talked to us a lot about L'Jarius Sneed, who was limited today, did practice. So my assumption is if he's limited today, he'll play on Sunday.
Yeah.
But the guy that I'm thinking about is Trent McDuffie.
Okay.
Is a rookie corner.
Yeah.
And there's something for me. He came out of Washington. The Eagles were connected to him a lot coming out of the draft. And look, his again, numbers, there's nothing eye-popping. Like he didn't have an interception all year.
He had a pretty good game against Cincinnati. He was kind of all over the place. He was
actually had 6 tackles.
Yeah. And like broke up a couple passes like
the talent was there. There was never any doubt that the kid could play. So that's sort of where I'm going with him, just from the perspective of he's going to be on the outside against one of our dudes, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just a matter of which one.
Yep.
And so I have him as my defensive player from the Chiefs.
All right.
So just to watch for.
I'm swapping to Eagles defense. This is a sleeper in terms of recent performance only.
Okay.
If Darius Slay gets his head out of his ass for the biggest game he's ever played, we walk away with this game. I get it that Travis Kelce is going to get his. We're going to double him. We're going to put a lot of focus on him. The problem is when the Chiefs are allowed to still get those other receivers involved, regardless, no one's going to have a ton of yards. But if Mahomes knows that he has other places to throw the ball, he will get it to them. And this defense, when it just sits back in zone, has not been the same the first couple of weeks when they were getting all those turnovers, specifically Slay. I told you this, I think week 9, that something looked wrong with him. I think it was that Washington game. Everyone was getting open. It did not look the same. And he hasn't looked like himself over the last several weeks. Maybe even months. Bradbury has been the better corner out of those two over the past several months. I need D. Slay to step up and just put the kibosh on whoever is lining up in front of him. That, like, just take away all options and, like, we win this game. I need him to go back to like week 1 through 7, Darius Slay. I
had a feeling you were going there.
I need it.
I had a feeling you were going there. So I'm gonna go to the Eagles offense. And Regz, I'm going with Old Faithful.
Okay.
Here's why. I just mentioned McDuffie, right? And I feel like L'Jarius Sneed is going to play. He'll be on the other outside, which leaves Carlos Dunlap in the slot. Regz, I'm going to Old Faithful. Quez Watkins. Look out, folks.
Yes.
We have not had a Quez game.
Bringing the season-long prediction back. I love it.
Part of this is because Regz took Kenny Gainwell from me. But the other part, Kenny Gainwell is my guy.
Yeah.
But Quez, I'm telling you, dude, Quez has to atone for some sins. He has to atone for their only true loss this year. The only loss that I will attribute to a team loss. If he comes, they went away from him after that. We have not seen Quez.
Well, he got a couple.
But
he looked terrible in that one Giants game.
Yeah,
he was dropping
everything. This team can be had down the field.
Yeah,
and Quez is your guy to get down the field. I'm telling you, Quez game, at least one touchdown catch. Quez game.
But you know what that also means? It means that Jalen is throwing the deep ball well.
Yes, there was actually a stat
difference.
There was actually a stat that I saw that showed that Jalen did not throw a ball more than, I think was it 8 yards last week or 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, I know.
You know, he threw that 33-yard deep ball to Devontae to start the Giants game.
Yeah.
But then he didn't have to at all. So, how much of it is...
But his regular throws did not look good.
Correct.
He was pulling a Donovan by spiking all those balls.
Yeah. So we'll see what it looks like. You know, he's had 2 weeks. Part of me, and this is a conversation for a postseason pod, part of me thinks we're going to hear that Jalen had to get surgery when the season ends.
I'm sure. Yeah.
There's going to be something, scraps that need to be cleaned out of their shoulder or something.
I just really don't want that. Yeah.
All right. One more to go each.
So from a Chiefs defense, you also took my kind of one guy just because I noticed him a lot in the Cincinnati game. So I don't know if I have a specific sleeper. I think Kyle kind of did a really good job. I'm kind of copping out of this one.
That's fine. You can jump out
Kyle
of it if you want.
did a really good job of
totally fine. I forgive you.
Yeah, he did a really good job of going over all the stuff.
I forgive you.
Let's say this. If the Chiefs linebackers have a good day covering Dallas Goedert, it's an issue.
Yeah,
I don't think it's going to happen. But if I had to just grab at straws for something, that's what I would grab.
Listen, I'm not going to go into much explanation here. Reed Blankenship, sleeper on the defense on Sunday. Look, here's the thing. I love your pick, but aside from that, what am I supposed to say? Fletcher Cox?
Yeah, right.
You know, what am I supposed to say? Yeah. The defense has been really good all year.
Reed was my next choice.
I do believe, and Reed won't play a whole lot. Maybe if they go into a dime, they'll sneak, CJ down into the slot.
Yeah.
I don't see them going dime a whole lot. What they might do is put CJ in the slot to protect against Kelsey.
Yeah.
And in that case, you're basically putting 2 defensive backs on Jason Kelsey or on Travis Kelsey, and that might allow Reed to kind of play into the game a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know how much he's going to impact it, but I love Reed, so
that's right.
I got it. He's got to be the sleeper.
No, like I said, he was my pick after Slay.
It's got to be. All right. So Curtis, we spent a lot of time there on yours. Curtis did have one as well. So I want to, give him a little bit of love on his. He said Justin Watson with either a TD or some big third down conversions. So
okay.
Justin Watson was his sleeper.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know much about Justin Watson, if I'm being entirely honest with you.
Likewise.
Yeah, he's a wide receiver. So he would definitely be one that would shock us a little bit if there's something there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's jump to Brian's question real quickly. And this question came from Skip Bayless's comments. Today, he came out and said, if you want highlights and bodacious Star Wars stats, I give you Mahomes. If I want the better football player, I'm taking Jalen Hurts. I believe he'll beat Mahomes head to head. Is it my turn?
Yeah.
This is a take. And Skip's known for his takes.
Yes, he is. It's literally what he's made his career off of, you could say.
Yeah. Regz, there's not a better quarterback on the planet than Patrick Mahomes.
No, there's not.
I read his stats tonight. While you're talking, I'll try and find it. But it actually shows that he's probably the best player at the position in league history. At least according to the stat that I read.
Yeah.
I'm not going to sit here and even belabor a Skip Bayless take that. And look, we love Jalen. We're
Yes.
Jalen guys.
Yeah.
Like we do, but we've both been on the show. You can go back to the beginning of our playoff journey. And we talk about like Patrick Mahomes is the dude.
Mhm.
He's the best player on the field in every game he plays. 1 ankle, 2 ankles, no ankles,
Yeah.
7 ankles. I don't care. He's the best player on the field because of what's up here and what's in this right arm and what he leads with.
Yeah.
Like he's the best player on the field. He's the best player on the planet.
Mhm.
He's arguably the most notable athlete on the planet next to LeBron James right now.
Yeah.
And that's not just for name value. It's not for face value. It's not because he has this crazy social media presence. His brother and his wife, dude, that's another conversation.
It's a different conversation.
But Patrick Mahomes is who he is because of the person and the player that he is. So, yeah, I'll take the highlight reels all day.
Yeah.
And I'll take the fact that he sells tickets for sure. But the highlight reel and the ticket sales come from the fact that he's just damn good. Now, is he unbeatable, Regz? Absolutely not.
No.
He's not unbeatable.
No.
Like there are things to do that you can beat the Chiefs.
Mm-hmm.
But Patrick Mahomes will be the reason that you don't beat the Chiefs.
Yeah.
So you've got to find a way to limit what he gets because he's going to get something.
Oh yeah.
You've just got to find a way to limit what he gets.
I mean, it's literally in the territory of Brady taking those Patriots teams that had you and I at wide receiver.
Yeah.
To multiple Super Bowls and winning them.
Right.
It was because Tom Brady was that much better than everyone else on the field.
Yeah.
And it's that equivalent. This Chiefs team, by all accounts, does not have a good enough defense and a good enough offense to be in the Super Bowl. But you know why they're here? That guy.
Yeah.
Like that's what we're talking about. It's everyone forgets, everyone might revert to Brady having Randy Moss and Gronk and all that. Brady took plenty of teams that had no one like that on offense to Super Bowls and won them because of his ability to play quarterback. Like, it's still the most important position on the football field. And that guy is the best player at that position on the planet. And the single scariest dude wearing a red uniform that will come out of the tunnel on Sunday. There's no doubt in my mind that he could single-handedly beat the Eagles. I don't know how, but it could happen. And I also know that if the Chiefs called us tomorrow and said, hey, you want to swap quarterbacks?
Yeah.
Howie wouldn't take a millisecond to say yes.
None of the other 30 GMs would.
No one would. And again, this is from a place where Jalen has made such a farther leap than we expected this year. We've said this a bunch this year, but if you go back to our season preview pods, we're like, let's just see if he just improves a little bit. Right? Let's see if he can stay in the pocket for an extra second and not bail out like he has a tendency to do. Right? But the leaps he's taken this year are far beyond what we have expected, but he is not anywhere close to being Patrick Mahomes.
You're right. No one is.
No one is.
So
everyone thought Josh Allen there was like getting close, or Joe Burrow was getting close. Like, sorry.
Let me read you the stat. I found it, and then we'll move on to our final viewer point before we jump into some just obscure stuff. Shane Half Shane is Shane is a content creator for Bleeding Green Nation.
Okay.
He does a lot of like chalk talk stuff. He's actually very interesting to listen to. Since the year 2010, 13 years ago, for those of you who are trying to do the math quickly, Patrick Mahomes has an EPA, expected points added, per play that is 43% higher than the second place player. Through his first 5 years as a starter, he averages per 17 games, 5,155 passing yards, 41 touchdowns, and another 330 rushing yards and 3 touchdowns. Shane adds he's the best to ever play the position.
It's absurd.
So again, Brian, like, I totally get the question. Like, it's a take, but it's so bad. And the reason that Skip gets away with this is so beyond me. I'll never understand how this dude gets away with saying things like this.
Because he has to spend
keeps
3 hours on television doing it. It's what he gets paid to do.
But like that obscure.
Chris Sims still keeps getting on TV.
But not in the same realm.
We just need some warm bodies at this point, I guess.
It's just unbelievable. Like that take is so absurd. I love Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
I love the kid. He's nowhere near Patrick Mahomes yet.
They got a lot of time to fill on that Shannon and Skip show. They just gotta come up with a lot of stuff.
Again, I don't want to make it seem like Jalen's not in the top tier of quarterbacks in the NFL.
No.
I do believe he's right at like the cusp of elite, but like Mahomes sort of sits at the top of elite.
Yeah.
So it's hard to. That's just weird. I don't know. It's just a weird. It's a weird statement overall. But Brian, thanks for the question, man. John Gardner. This is more of a statement that I just want to react to quickly.
Okay.
Third down effectiveness. Eagles pass rush will force some 3rd and longs. Game may depend on if they can get Mahomes off the field. That's accurate.
Oh,
like this.
Yeah.
I think in any situation against any quarterback in any week of NFL football, getting off the field is paramount. Like you need to limit possessions, especially when the quarterback across from you is Pat Mahomes. But it becomes more challenging because it's Pat Mahomes.
Well, yeah.
So getting off the field on a 3rd and 8 is like a 3rd and 3.
Yeah, there's a difference.
So like Mahomes will create from outside the pocket. He'll create from inside the pocket. He'll use his legs. Do you use a spy? Do you keep a guy in coverage and hope that he can't run? You're going to have to find that out early in the game.
Yeah.
Like, is he able to run? If he is, then you're going to have to spy.
Mm-hmm.
If he's a little hesitant, especially if you can collapse the pocket around him, that's great. The Eagles have everybody. All 53 guys are there.
Yeah.
This may include Aaron Sipos, which is great because we don't have to watch Kern punt a football.
Yeah.
But ultimately, getting off the field on 3rd downs, yeah, of course. I couldn't agree with you more in that point. It's just how.
Yeah, right.
We aren't sending pressure. And that we'll talk a little bit about that in the next segment of the show here. But getting Mahomes to think twice, because you can force him to think twice, and he will turn the ball over.
Mm-hmm.
If you make him hesitate, he will turn the ball over. But that comes down to your ability to create pressure against a guy who can create second thoughts.
Right. Yeah, I mean, that's the biggest thing. The biggest thing is going to be on those true 3rd and 8s, those passing downs. Can we get to him and get to him quickly?
Yeah.
Because even if we just take a little bit too long, the ball's coming out of his hands.
Mm-hmm.
So will we have the ability to get to him and get to him quickly enough to disrupt his first read or second read? And I mean, hopefully get him on the ground. Like, let's just get this dude on the ground a couple times. Again, he's not going to be rattled by getting sacked twice. So that's not it's not going to ruin the entire rest of the game.
Right.
But if in those moments, right, this game's going to come down to certain moments. If in those really key 3rd and 8, 3rd and 7s, 3rd and 6s, you can get a sack, like we've seen how that can win you a football game. I mean, it's a really easy take to say, but it's just so important. You can't keep, it's like an offensive rebound in basketball. You can't keep giving this guy more opportunities. It's like Seth Curry. If you give up an offensive rebound to the Warriors, you're letting the best shooter of all time get another shot. And it will not go well for you. Like, it's just not going to be, it's not going to be a fun night if you keep letting that happen.
So, Regz, we're gonna once again say thank you to all of our listeners who sent us some questions there, and we're gonna dive into some obscurity, some things that I found that are just a little bit fun but resonate to the game. The first one, I don't know how much this resonates, but I do think that this changes on Sunday. Did you know? This blew me away. So the Eagles have played. This will be their 4th Super Bowl.
Yep.
Only 2 wide receivers have caught touchdowns in those Super Bowls. Can you name the 2?
Alshon Jeffrey.
He is one. He caught that bomb from Nick Foles. Amazing catch, by the way. Especially with a torn labrum.
Yes. And, oh, man.
Do you want a clue?
Yeah, is it older than T.O.?
2014.
I don't know.
Greg Lewis.
Oh, wow. Okay. Wow.
So that'll change.
I wasn't getting that one.
That's going to change.
If it does, like, that's the thing. If it does, and I think it will as well, God, I want Jalen to show the ability to get the deep ball out and complete it accurately. If we can blow the top off these guys, sure, I don't care if it's Quez. I don't care who it is.
There's only one guy to do it.
That's not true. AJ Brown's open all the time.
Put up the bat signal, baby.
I just like, if they can just constantly do that.
Yeah.
And Jalen is like completing those passes again.
Yeah.
It's just like the whole game is 10 times easier.
It's different.
It's so different.
It's different. All right, here's one that kind of speaks to what you were just talking about with the defensive line. This is amazing. The defensive line has a sack on 11.5% of the dropbacks that they faced this year.
It's pretty good.
Now that sounds low,
but yeah.
Until I say this.
Yeah.
The difference between their amount of sacks per dropback and the second place team in that same category is the same difference between that same second place team and the 29th ranked team in the NFL.
So it's essentially them and then everyone else.
Correct. Correct. And here's the thing, that doesn't change with this offensive line. I hear what people are saying about the interior. I get it. But Jonathan Gannon has had 2 weeks to scheme. And I fully believe that it's going to be very, very relevant to our viewing eyes. All right. One more thing from the Eagles' perspective that I want to talk about, the Chiefs real quickly. The Chiefs, 32nd in run stop win rate this year. Dead last in the NFL. The Eagles, 2nd in run block win rate. Regz, clash of styles.
I mean, we just did it against the best run defense in the NFL. Yeah. For those only listening, I put up air quotes after I said best run defense in the NFL.
He did. So,
but like, again, who else do we have to do it against? We've done it against Dallas.
Right.
We've done it against San Francisco.
Mm-hmm.
Again, arguably 2 of the best defenses in the entire NFL.
And they've done it against some other really good rushing
Yes.
defenses too.
And the Chiefs are not Dallas, and the Chiefs are not San Francisco.
Think about the best way to stop Patrick Mahomes. Keep the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands.
Keep him on the bench.
What did they do to the Packers?
Yeah.
They ran for almost 400 yards.
Yep.
You keep it out of his hands. So that brings me over to the Chiefs. I want to talk about some trends with the Chiefs offense and defense and how that stacks up against the Eagles. So I'll start on the defensive side. During the regular season, they blitzed 28% of the time.
Okay.
They have cut that down to 14% in the postseason. They play nickel 54% of the time and dime 19% of the time. Here's where I think we might see a difference in this game. They stack the box 15% of the time. I think we might see more of a stack. I think Spags is going to stack it and make Jalen prove early that he can throw.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Your biggest fear is the Chiefs defense is letting the Eagles have 200 plus yards rushing.
Just run all over you.
Because that means your weapon is, again, like we said, sitting right behind Spagnuolo with a, obviously not with a jacket on because it's Arizona, but sitting with his helmet off.
Right. So I think we might see that early, and it might be one of those games, and the Eagles do this often. Pass to establish the run.
Yeah.
And if Jalen can show that he can push the ball down the field, then they're going to have to respect it.
Mm-hmm.
And then it turns into a track meet because I don't think that the Chiefs are going to be able to stop the Eagles running.
No.
And the Eagles are going to score, and the time's going to click off, and they're going to wear that defensive line down.
Yeah.
They also play man 32% of the time, and I feel like that does kind of play into the Eagles' hands a little bit because
I agree.
They can beat you in man, and that's a high percentage of man.
Yeah.
And if you go in zone, there are a lot of guys who can find holes in that zone. A lot of guys. And Jalen can throw in his zone. And I just don't think they have the corners to cover in man.
Yeah.
Especially if you go 5 wide.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right. And then on the offensive side, they're pass heavy, 12 personnel, quite a bit. This is a thing that I think we're going to see affect and impact. And Kyle talked about this. They use motion to get the defensive ends weary about committing. 62% of their snaps come with motion. So I have not seen anything about Kadarius Toney. Still looks like he's questionable. He did full practice today, but we'll see what happens the rest of the week. RPO 90% of the time they run. They do chip a lot, which is where I think Gannon needs to get a little creative. The Eagles don't stunt a lot, but when they do, they're very successful.
Yeah.
So if you're going to avoid chip blocks being a thing, you do that by getting your best pass rushers back inside and seeing if you can create miscommunication on the other side of the line.
Yeah, and I think where that can be advantageous for the Eagles is that our interior defensive linemen aren't bad at rushing the passer. Like that Ndamukong Suh and Hargrave and Fletcher Cox are not bad at rushing the passer. So if you get those guys on those inferior tackles, that's not a bad thing either.
Yeah.
It means hopefully, again, you're losing a little bit of speed on the contain on the outside, which might be a little bit of a concern for Patrick to be able to kind of slip that way and get out of there. But I definitely think it's something they got to try.
And you can also, you can push those guys back.
Yes.
You know, tackles aren't really meant to block tackles.
Right.
You know, they're meant to block speed guys. They're more athletic. Guards are more there's a lot more power to them. Now, you know, Jason Kelce being a center, and this center matchup, this might be 1 and 2. Jason Kelce and Creed Humphrey might be 1 and 2 in the NFL. Creed Humphrey's like the next generation. Kelce talks all the time about how much he loves watching him.
Yeah. No, he's very good.
So you're not going to in those 5-man fronts, which I don't think we're going to see a ton of because the Chiefs just don't run the ball as much, and that's a Andy Reid MO.
Yeah.
But Creed Humphrey becomes a challenge because he's good. He's very, very good. And one other thing that's not mentioned here that I just want to talk to. Andy Reid is one of the best screen coaches ever. He can eliminate our pass rush by running screen.
Mm-hmm.
The Eagles have to be disciplined. They have to be ready. They cannot be overly aggressive in 3rd and longs, in 2nd and longs, because he will run screen. And he will do it repeatedly.
Yeah, and
he did it when
has
he was
good
here,
guys to do it.
And he does. Again, Jerick McKinnon is a nightmare. When he's on the field, screens are very much probable.
Yeah.
Have to be ready for it. And again, I expect that the Eagles are prepared for that. It's a matter of whether or not they're disciplined enough to remember the preparation and react and do what's necessary.
And tackle.
Yes, tackle is important. That is part of it. All right.
They forget that sometimes. I just thought I'd bring it up in case they're listening.
We got one more part before we get to our predictions, Regz.
All right, man.
Last year, they matched up. 42-30 was the final, Regz.
Mm-hmm.
It was rough.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, it was rough in a lot of senses, but it might have been Jalen's best game last year. If you look back, and I'm pulling it back up here. Sorry, I searched something else in the beginning of our.
While you're looking, Patrick Mahomes won the MVP. Jalen finished 2nd.
Oh, did he? Okay, well, at least he finished 2nd. Because I thought it would actually be worse than that. If I'm being entirely honest with you. Okay, yeah, last year, Jalen against the Chiefs, 32 of 48, 387 yards, and 2 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Kenny Gainwell, 3 carries, 31 yards, and a touchdown.
Good boy, Kenny.
Devontae Smith, 7 for 122.
Yeah, I'll take that.
Dallas Goedert had 5 for 56, and Kenny Gainwell had 6 for 58.
Ooh, nice game from Kenny.
Mm-hmm. Quez 3 for 33.
There you go. That's not what we want. We want Quez 1 for 50 plus with a touchdown.
Yes. 2 for 59.
No.
3-yard screen. 3-yard screen.
I want a 65-yard bomb, and then he can have like one more little screen for you.
Now, here's the thing. People will point to this game as a what's to come. So let me just talk a little bit about what had happened to refute the what's to come. What had happened was the Eagles had Jalen Reagor lining up as a receiver in this game. Andre Dillard and Jack Driscoll both lined up in this game. Also playing offensive line, the great Nate Herbig.
Of course.
No Jordan Mailata. No Isaac Seumalo. No Lane Johnson.
Yeah, not fun.
Actually, you know what? Lane might have played. I need to look back. Lane might have played, but it might have been Dickerson that didn't play.
Okay.
Because I think Lane played. I take that back. All right. On the other side of the football, important to know, Eric Wilson.
Who?
Yup. Played linebacker that day. Alex Singleton played linebacker that day.
Great.
Steven Nelson lined up at corner that day.
Sick.
Yes. And Harris played safety. He is an Eagle.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That is not Kaiser White. That is not TJ Edwards. That is not James Bradbury. And that is not either one of Epps or Gardner Johnson. One more thing I need to point out. Two more things I need to point out about this game. Travis Kelce, 4 catches, 23 yards.
Yeah, I'll take that, please.
This goes back to what I was saying earlier about Travis and Jason. The Eagles and Jonathan Gannon last year decided that Travis Kelce would not beat them. They would do anything they could to stop Travis Kelce. Yeah. The problem was,
I was about to say, there's a but here.
There was a guy
named Tyreek Hill.
11 catches, 186 yards, and 3 touchdowns.
Oh, my goodness.
Here's what I'll tell you, Regz. Tyreek Hill does not exist.
No, he does not.
On this Chiefs team.
Thank God.
The Eagles will approach this game as Darius Slay and James Bradbury and Avonte Maddox will do what they need to do to cut off anything in the middle of the field, anything in the outside of the field when it comes to wide receivers.
Mm-hmm.
But they will take away Travis Kelce with every fiber of a game plan.
Yeah.
He will not be the one to beat them. He did not last year. And I don't know. Some of that could have been, hey, we know we can get him on the outside.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what, the Eagles didn't have good linebackers last year, and they certainly didn't have safeties. It all came down to game planning and scheming. And Gannon will do the same thing this year. I don't know, man. I don't know if you have a response or if Azzy, thank you for the research.
That's right. That's a thank you for the research. Well done by you. I don't know if I take into account any of it. I'm just
Super Bowl. I know you got to throw it out the window.
I know.
But I think what I'm saying is, if you're going to look at it one way that the Chiefs won,
right,
then you've got to look at the context around why the Chiefs won, because Jalen also threw for almost 400 yards,
mm-hmm.
and he wasn't this Jalen.
Yeah.
And he didn't have this year's weapons.
Or this offensive line.
Yeah. And the Eagles defense certainly didn't have what it has now.
No.
It didn't have the pass rush. It didn't have the secondary. It didn't have the middle part of the field. This defense has 3 layers.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see what happens, man. All right. That'll take us right to predictions. So we asked our listeners for predictions, and we're going to run right through them here. We'll start with Mike Graybell. Mike said that the Chiefs will win 31-27 and that Clyde Edwards-Helaire will have the game that opens up the Kansas City offense. Mike, listen, I love you, man. I know you're a Steeler guy through and through. So it's hard for you to pick the Eagles. But Clyde Edwards-Helaire lost his starting job before he got hurt. So hard to believe that he's going to be the one that wins the Super Bowl after not playing for 10 weeks.
Seems like he's reaching a little bit.
Look, could the Chiefs win? Sure. Could it be 31-27? Yes. Absolutely.
Yes.
Will it be on Clyde Edwards-Helaire's shoulders? Not unless Isaiah Pacheco gets hurt.
Yeah, something very bad happened.
Yeah. All right. Let's jump to Roger. Friend of the show. Roger. Eagles 31. Chiefs 24. Roger thinks that the offensive line wears out the Chiefs, and unless the Eagles turn over the ball uncharacteristically, they will win the football game.
Knocking on wood.
Yeah. How about it? All right, Chance has the Eagles 31-20.
Okay.
Philly defense is too much for the Chiefs, and the offense outscores them, and the Chiefs just can't keep up offensively.
Mm-hmm.
And I think some of that might be what we talked about earlier, that the run game wears them down, doesn't keep them on the field enough, and turnovers turn into points for the Eagles, and 3 and outs turn into points for the Eagles. 31-20 though, which is actually directly on the point total, Rags.
Yeah, it's in the 50s, right? 51.
51. And I will tell you, Chance sent me that earlier in the week before it landed on 51. So, I got two more here. We're gonna save Randy's for last because his is hilarious to me. Brian sent us 3127 birds, and his son Grayson. Huge shout out to Grayson. Grayson, who listens to full episodes of Phixated now.
You're the best.
Thank you, Grayson. That's awesome, man. Thank you so much for listening to us. Shout out to you, and shout out to your prediction, 31-21 birds.
I like it.
He's got it at 52. He's got the over. Grayson,
he's got the over. That's right.
You're aggressive, buddy. Love that. Love that. Thanks again for listening, man. And then Randy, going big. Eagles 41.
Oh, all right.
Chiefs 28.
Good Lord.
Point total of 69. He's got Boston Scott, Miles Sanders, and Jalen Hurts all with rushing touchdowns. He's got Jason Kelsey with the receiving touchdown.
Great one.
And he's got CJ Gardner-Johnson with a pick 6.
Ooh, okay.
In this game. So he also said to Chance, because they work together, because Chance said Randy's going for it, which he clearly is.
Clearly.
If 5 of 6 of these come true, that Chance owes him an extra PE class.
Ooh, all right.
Chance, I will be awaiting
It's
your
official
answer.
now. It's on the podcast.
It's on the podcast, Chance. You might have to do it. If 5 of those 6
I think
come
it's
true.
official
Chance,
now.
I think your odds are pretty good.
Yeah, I think they are too.
I don't think 5 of those 6 come true exactly.
I mean, I'd love it if they do. I'm all for it, but
I mean, Randy, if you hit the score at 41-28,
that'd be pretty good.
that's really impressive. That's really impressive. All right, Regz, it's our turn, buddy, and you know how it goes. You have to go first.
That's right. Nope, that's fine. I'd rather you go second, and we're not gonna we don't mess with superstitions on this show.
We sure don't. The sock's still in the pocket.
Okay. So I've been doing my best
here, buddy.
I've been doing my best this week to not think about it until today.
I know.
I know we've been sending each other little media day things, and I've been seeing all this stuff on Twitter. I've literally been reading Matt Gale Phillies articles just to not think about it. By the way, Matt, if you ever listened, like I said, I signed up for The Athletic just to read that Fransky story that he put out the other day. Very good.
Oh, so good. It was so good.
Yeah, so good.
So good.
I've literally been avoiding thinking about it because I didn't want to be like, oh my God, the Eagles are in the Super Bowl in 7 days, in 6 days, in 5 days. All that being said, my key to the game, there are 2, and they're very simple.
Okay.
Keys to the game. If the Eagles can get to 4 or 5 sacks on Patrick Mahomes, and the Eagles can rush in whatever capacity for over 150 yards combined, I think the Eagles win this game 28-20. I still think Mahomes gets his. I just don't think there's enough time for him to put up all the points that, we would expect from him. I was very close to going 31-20, but I'm going to keep it in the under because I think the Eagles can do enough to stop the Chiefs from scoring a lot. And I think that 20 comes from it being it's 28-13 at the end of the game, and the Chiefs get a garbage time touchdown to bring it to 20. I think because the Eagles are going to run the ball so much, Patrick will be on the sidelines for most of the game, and they just will not have many opportunities to score. I got it out. I don't know. I'm now all my nervous energy has come. It's all here now. Your turn.
So I've got 2. I think the winning the trenches in this game I feel like I feel like it's
But it's where we have the
so
largest.
cliche.
It's where we have the largest matchup gap, though.
Yeah, it's so cliche, but I think it's how the Eagles have won all year.
Yep.
It's how they've won all year long. They've won up front in every game that they've won. The games that they've lost have been, uncharacteristic. You remember the Washington game? They had all those false starts.
Mhm.
Like it was just an uncharacteristic loss. And to me, I just don't see them losing the trenches in this game. Especially how they've played in the postseason. They've just been so good.
Yeah.
On both sides. So that's a key. And then my other one for an Eagles win specifically is AJ Brown. I feel like he hasn't had his game yet.
Yeah. It's been a while.
And I joke earlier about Quez Watkins, and I still think Quez gets his, and you'll probably hear that in my score in a little bit, but I think AJ set up for a score or two himself. I don't think he can be covered in this game.
I think that would be huge. If we can establish that is just, he is the dude on the field, I think it's huge.
Then you have to commit another guy to him.
Yep.
And with this offense, you can't commit two guys to a receiver.
Yeah.
So you're going to have to hope that you can keep him 1-to-1. And I don't think they can.
Yeah.
There are some teams that can at least commit a guy to him, and you have to be scared of the guy. I don't think McDuffie's that guy.
No, I don't think so.
And I don't think a banged up Snead is that guy.
Yeah.
So I think this might be an AJ Brown game where he gets in the end zone once or twice. And Regz, I got 31-24. And I think it's a field goal late that pulls it and an onside kick that the Eagles get.
Yep.
And Jalen gets to kneel on it. I think that's what it is.
Oh, man. This is, like I said, I have been thinking about it, and now it's going to be all I'm doing for the next 4 days. 3 days.
Yeah, Andrea asked me yesterday, like, how you doing? Are you okay?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I'm really trying not to. This is different than baseball because it doesn't go right into it, right? Like, baseball goes right into it, so you don't get a break.
Yep.
I said, talk to me on Saturday.
Yeah.
Saturday, I'm going to be very different.
Yeah.
Saturday, I'm going to feel it. Like it's going to be building.
Mm-hmm.
And then Sunday, don't even bother. Don't bother because I'm going to go to the gym. I'll probably be there for 2 hours. I'm going to have my turkey and prosciutto sandwich that I have every game day. And then I'm going to like sit and write all day. I'm going to go to the grocery store because I do that on Sundays. I'm going to try and keep a routine. And then at 6:00, I'm going to put on the hoodie with the sock.
Yep, that's right.
I'm going to put on the hoodie with the sock.
Yep. We're gonna make a t-shirt with a hood. We're gonna make a t-shirt with a hoodie pocket with a sock sticking out of
it. It's got to be the design.
Yeah.
Got time for a quick fixated?
Of course we do.
So Regz, like, we just talked about it, right? Like, we've been so quiet about this game and what it means,
Mm-hmm.
And we've had such a great 3 months. Like, what an incredible run.
Oof.
And I'm going with the theme of third time's a charm.
I like that.
While we're not big Union guys, we are big Philly guys.
Yes.
And we sat and we watched the Union that night. And they came up short.
Mm-hmm.
And I texted you and I said, this is bad vibes, dude.
Yep.
This is bad vibes.
Mm-hmm.
And then the Phillies came up short. Chance number 3 rolls around. And Regz, I'm going to go ahead and say it. Like, this is a good week for it. On Tuesday, my grandfather would have turned 102 years old. It was the 13th anniversary or 13th birthday since he passed. And he was a big Eagles fan. Big Eagles fan. Today is my father's birthday. Happy birthday, Big Tom.
Shout out Big Tom.
We won't say the age because, as he would say, age doesn't matter. It's just a number. And I'll be home on Saturday to have dinner and celebrate with him. But he's where I got my Eagles fandom from. You know, I still remember watching Andy Reid's first game as a head coach with my dad. And, you know, I still call him at halftime of games, not every game, but a lot of games, to talk to him about it, see what he thinks. And in college, not our time in college, but in this player's time at college, my dad became a huge fan of a certain player who's very important to the Eagles. Just liked him. Didn't ever really say why, like didn't have a reason why, just liked his presence.
Mm-hmm.
And that player being Jalen Hurts. And we've talked a lot about Jalen and what this season has been and what these 2 years have been. It's been a roller coaster. Like the Sirianni Hurts, connection has been a journey for us. We went from a 4-win team to a 9-win team to now a 16, 1 win away from being 17-win, most in franchise history by a lot. And like we're sitting here on the precipice of one of the, if not the greatest Eagles team ever. Sal Paolantonio said that the other night. He's covered a lot of Eagles teams. He talked about the Andy 2004 team, and that was Andy's team. Donovan was Donovan, but Andy ran that show. Andy was the guy. And then in 2017-18, Nick Foles was the backup. Doug was the dude. This is Jalen Hurts' team. He's the guy. He's the guy. Players look at Jalen Hurts as the guy. Veterans, rookies, office, coaching staff, they all look to this 24-year-old as the standard. And Jalen talks about it a lot. We haven't met the standard. We're not at the standard yet. Like this is, we need to get to this. We know what it is and we got to get there. And there was a clip of him on the sideline last week saying one more. And Regz, I don't even believe that if he wins one more, that he's going to feel like he met the standard.
Yeah.
This guy doesn't really settle for greatness. And someone asked his teammate, asked Devontae Smith, like, what is it about this focus? And he said, Alabama. This is what we learned at Alabama. Draft greatness, get greatness. They've drafted greatness over the last 2 years, and they've gotten it. Devontae, Landon Dickerson, Jalen Hurts, Jordan Davis, Nakobe Dean. These guys come from great programs. It translates. But Jalen is the standard. You want leadership? You watch Jalen Hurts. You listen to Jalen Hurts. The moment's never too big. He's never too important for the moment. He's put media in their place in respectful ways. He's put players in their place. He stared right through his coach when his coach gave him 2 days off. My dad's a quiet guy, and I come back to this now. And I'm going to wrap it up here. My dad's a quiet guy, doesn't say a whole lot. But when he says something, it's usually right. And he was right about Jalen Hurts. He loved him in college. He loves him now. And Jalen's been through a lot. He didn't get all the accolades that he probably should have gotten. He got pulled in games. He got benched. He got rapped on. Sunday comes around and it's redemption time for Jalen Hurts. And I hope that it's redemption time for him. Because if there's one dude who deserves it, not just because of what happened to him at Alabama, but because of the hate that he got when he was drafted from people like me. Carson Wentz truthers like me who didn't get it. I get it now. I get it. There's something different about Jalen Hurts. And I hope for my dad's birthday that he gets to see the dude that he's always liked hoist the Lombardi. And I hope for Jalen that he gets to hoist it in the face of dudes like Chris Sims and like myself, who initially doubted him, and dudes like Chris Sims who continue to doubt him. And dudes like Robbie Gould who tell him that if you make him play quarterback, you're going to have a good day on defense. Well, Robbie, enjoy watching Jalen hoist the Lombardi on Sunday because it's freaking happening. And that's what I'm fixated on, Regz.
It needs to be Sunday at 6:00 because the rest of this week is going to take forever.
I'm just going to send you Jalen Hurts gifts for the rest of the week.
Good. Please do that. I would love that. I just sent you a pretty good one of Chris Sims falling over at the Super Bowl.
I will tell you what, that dude's going to block me on Twitter if Jalen wins the Super Bowl on Sunday. That dude is going to block. He might have to put a restraining order on me. I'm going to be so obnoxious. I would never truly require a restraining order. But I will.
We'll find him. We'll find him next year at media day and be like, "Nice take, Sims."
Hey, Chris, you suck. Have you seen the video of him not being able to translate what John Gruden is saying to him in the huddle?
Oh, is that from yes, I have seen that.
It is the absolute best.
Yeah.
And it is such a burn because that dude looks like an idiot.
Again, how did he become an analyst? He was a terrible player.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway,
Regz.
Yeah, all right. Forget
we
enough
got
about
him.
that guy.
Yeah, he doesn't belong on the show. Regz, we both got him winning. Sunday is only days away.
Oh my God.
Here's the question. Who's voicing the hype video? In 18, it was Bradley Cooper.
The problem is Trout's not that guy. That'd be cool, but he's not a hype guy. I think it's B-Doc. It's just go back to the man. Because the last one he did was ridiculous.
Okay.
Or it's either him or it's Kelsey or Lane Johnson.
I don't think it'll be a current player.
Okay. Then I think it's B-Doc.
So B-Doc did both divisional and NFC title game in 18.
Why not?
And they flipped it.
They did. That's right.
Cooper. And I was devastated.
I just think it's got to be B-Doc.
Here are my thoughts. Give me Bryce Harper.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Give me Bryce Harper.
That's a good one.
The city panderer of all city panderers. If you're going to change it up, if it's Dawkins, fine.
Yeah, right.
My favorite player ever in any Philly sport is Brian Dawkins.
Yeah.
So if you're giving me that voice in this hype, all day. But if you're giving me anybody else, give me Bryce Harper.
I like that. That's a good one.
Or give me a mix of Philly legends.
Yeah, bring Dr. J back. Give me AI.
Yep.
Give me B-Doc.
Give me
throw in Donovan.
Chase. Give me Jimmy.
Yep.
Just give me a mix of all Philly legends.
Yep.
And I'm good. If it's not Doc, it's not Bryce, give me the mix.
Yeah.
Imagine hearing those voices come through. That would hit different.
Yep.
Well, buddy. Look,
Oh my
In
God. I've done such a good job of
3
not thinking
days.
about it. I've done such a good job of not thinking about it.
In 72 hours, we'll be right back here. People, please remember, if they win, we will be live. We will tweet out, we will Facebook exactly what time we will be on post game. We want you to join us. We want you to crack a beer with us. We want you to celebrate.
You
with
must
us.
have a drink in your hand to be eligible.
That includes you, Kyle.
That's right.
And Curtis.
That's right.
If they lose, we will record. We will give some instant reaction, probably some pain, because it'll be our third one in as many months. But we will be here to react and give you something to listen to on the following day's drive to work. I truly believe we'll be celebrating on Sunday. That being said, if you haven't already, click subscribe. If you're watching us on YouTube, just right below. And if you're listening to us on one of your favorite podcast platforms, whether it be Amazon, whether it be Spotify or Apple, you can click subscribe there, rate us, and then go to YouTube and subscribe. Because we'd love your subscription to both. It keeps growing us. The more subscriptions we get, the more we are exposed to other people. We continue to get tremendous download and activity all across platforms.
It's half our YouTube is just from people exploring and people who have listened to other Philly content, and our stuff keeps coming up because you are subscribing and you're leaving likes, and like it's huge.
Yeah. So the more you do that, the more we grow and get exposure to other people who, enjoy our meandering through Philly sports and our just constant bickering about the 49ers. So either way, people listen. And then go ahead and follow us on social media. You can follow us at Instagram at B&B Podcast, and you can follow us on Twitter at the same name, but you can also follow us at the Phixated Pod, although we are not tweeting from there until Monday morning, maybe Sunday night.
I was about to say, I think once it's done, we can, Yeah.
And then you can follow me at the Mic Drop 5 and Regz at Big Regz with a Z. And you can follow us over on the Phixated fan page where we got all this wonderful fan feedback tonight that we were able to read out on the show. Regz, I did send Kyle his pullover. So we got to do more giveaways. That's happening. And
listen,
then
if the Eagles win and whoever gets on the pod, we'll put your names in a hat. We'll give away something else.
Yeah, we'll do. Love that idea. And then, guys, ultimately, at the end of the day, click the merchandise link in the description. And of course, guys, and I'm wearing mine, and I'm wearing this. Our colors look different, but it's because he's in the light and my light is broken.
In the darkness. Has refused to plug it in for a year.
No, I plugged it in, and it went off on us right away the other night. Anyway.
I'm coming over.
And then, guys, wait for it, because it's coming. Phixatedpod.com, baby.
This is a very big step.
It is coming. The writing that you can follow from a Philly sports perspective will be in your, hopefully on your bookmarks.
And all the podcast episodes, like we'll throw some pictures up there, like a whole bunch of stuff.
We'll have the Twitter feed on there.
Yep.
All the podcasts. We'll have our merchandise, and any writing that I do will be thrown up there as well, including what Regz requested earlier, which is that's happening. Look back at all of our intramural championships.
Yep.
I don't remember them all.
It's okay. We'll figure it out.
All right, that's fine. Anything else for the good of the people, Regz?
No, man. All
right.
I will be a nervous ball. I will be a ball of nervousness for the next 3 days.
I'm going to be good until Saturday afternoon.
Yeah. I'm just going to keep trying to not think about it until Sunday comes around. And
Saturday around 5, I'm going to hit the wall.
When I got to start making my chicken dip and pretzels is when I'm going to start feeling it.
Yeah, real quickly, I didn't mention this earlier, and if you're still listening, good for you.
Yeah,
and if you're not, this is just for me and Regz.
That's fine.
I did have someone, Matt, who is having a Super Bowl gathering at his home.
Okay.
And I turned it down for the good of the team because I do not watch games away from home.
Yep.
And if I do, I feel as though I'm a reason for the loss. Also, I can't watch it with people that I know aren't going to be as invested as I am.
We talked about this. Yep.
So I cannot go to a house with like 20 people, knowing that 8 to 10 of them are going to be talking about something entirely different.
Yeah.
Than what's happening in front of us.
See, that would be my problem if I said yes to any of them, is that there's no Eagles fans. Like, so it would just be a bunch of people who have nothing invested in the game. And that's not going to happen. I am going to be locked in. My son Cole, who I am allowing to stay up for the entire game, is going to be right there in the room with me, along with my wife. And we're gonna get through this. We're gonna get through this together.
Can I ask something?
Of course.
Will Cole make an appearance on Phixated if they win?
If we win, yes, I will keep him up to be in the intro, and then he will go to bed.
Here's what I'll tell you. I know I said that I would have to go hug a neighbor or two.
Yeah.
I will come down here and do the introduction right away.
Okay.
So that Cole can be a part of the intro.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. If they win,
yes,
I will do that.
We're coming on right away. We'll do our quick 2 minutes, and then
and then I'll go hug neighbors, and then we'll come back and record the rest for our for our crew to come in.
Yes,
Regz,
he will make an appearance.
It's coming, baby. Super Bowl 57, here we come.
Oh man.
Buckle in. Buckle in. Go Birds.
Go
All
Birds,
right, guys.
everyone.
Listen. Take care. Be safe. Be kind to someone. Buckle in. It's going to be a long 3 days. It's been a long 2 weeks.
It has been.
It's going to be an even longer 3 days. But enjoy it, because it's not often that you get to sit through the agony of waiting for your team to play in the Super Bowl. In our lifetimes, we've gotten it 3 times. That's pretty incredible.
Yep.
It's pretty incredible. So enjoy the next 3 days, and then do me a favor on Sunday. Sit back, relax, and enjoy watching them run out to dreams and nightmares, because I'm certain that's what they're running out to.
Of course.
And then enjoy an Eagles win. We'll talk to y'all on Sunday night.
That's right.
One way or another. Take care, y'all. Go Birds!
Go Birds!
Oh my God! Deep to right field, way up there and way out of here!
The Philadelphia Eagles are Super Bowl champions. Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
The 0-2 pitch, swing and a miss, struck him out. The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.